Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Wow! Woo! Woo!
Countdown. The countdown never gets old.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic at this point. Welcome in. Welcome all to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast, with your esteemed favorite hosts in all the land, Jake, Josh, and Kevin.
Woohoo! That's me.
Feeling
That
very
is.
esteemed.
Today is our Week 10 news and updates and Would You Rather episode. Always a spicy one, especially when Josh peaks on Kevin's Would You Rathers, which he never does.
I have
apparently.
never peaked, and I never will, and I never
Both
would.
of you have peaked before. I've caught you in the act, and hopefully just didn't peak this week because I think the Would You Rathers today are pretty spicy, so I'm looking forward to getting to those.
I'm
You
not going to
seem
stand for
confident.
this slander. I've literally never peaked. Don't you put this evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I've actually seen you make efforts not to peak. So Jake is the only peaker here, and Josh,
Okay,
your
cool.
reputation has been redempted.
Thank you. Redempted, exactly.
Redeemed.
No, it's been redempted.
Add that to the Banger Management vocabulary. Proface, redempted.
We're going to have to come out with a dictionary soon.
Seriously. First merch, then a dictionary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Rate us 5 stars if you like what you hear. And subscribe on YouTube and give this video a like if you like the episode that you're about to hear. It's really exciting. Love that we're on YouTube. Still hasn't gotten old yet. So if you've been listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to check out our YouTube too, so you can see all of our facial expressions when we make up words.
Yeah. It's only been
And
what,
that.
like it's been like a month and a half on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe close to 2 months, and we're
That's
about
crazy.
to hit 100 subscribers. So listen, if you're listening to this and you haven't
Woo!
subscribed yet, you might be number 100. So
Wow. And you know what happens if you're number 100?
good things happen.
Kevin will shake that booty.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't consent to this. But
And before we dive in, all the socials are in the podcast description as well. Instagram, Reddit, TikTok. We are there. Check it out. And be sure to join the Discord community. Almost at 200
200.
Discord
Wow.
members. So
You know what
that's
happens
pretty
when
cool.
we hit 200?
Jake is shaking that booty.
No, you're resident booty shake. I don't know if we should edit this out or not, but I will tell a story that Kevin and I are about the same height. So one time we went back to back, and I swear to God, he Nicki Minaj'd me into another dimension.
That's got to stay in.
I had no idea he had such a badonk until
Listen,
that very
I
moment.
played soccer my whole life, so I got the booty and the legs have been developed.
Too developed to the point that it was unfair, and I ended up like slanted back with our
I feel a bit
our
left
height
out that I wasn't
competitive
invited to this butt-to-butt hangout.
Next time we're all together, we could do it. We'll just end in a triangle and all 10 back to back.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay, let's dive into our news and tidbits.
Let's do it. So, Mikael Granlund of the Anaheim Ducks returned from injury and is starting on line 4, power play 2, but he did have some shifts on power play 1 in the last game. How interested are you guys in owning Granlund in any league?
I mean, I'm not really interested in Granlund. I will say, though, that he's one of the players that we get one of the most questions about in the Discord. I feel like every time he's hurt and he's about to come back, people are like, oh, wait, do I drop like actually good player for Granlund? And I'm like, I probably wouldn't, to be honest. Like, if he was in the top 6 in power play 1, I'd obviously be interested, but I don't think he cracks that power play 1 unless they're desperate for a guy to win faceoffs. Or the top 6 is also tough, like when they're pretty healthy. So I'm not super interested. And if you're in a deep league, obviously he's worth a look because he has the good positional eligibility and he'll get you faceoffs. But with this deployment, line 4 PP2 it's not even crossing my mind.
Yeah, if it stays that way, also I'm not into it. I think what's gonna happen is that he is gonna crack power play 1. If I had to guess,
Really, you think so?
because like I think
I mean, he
Yeah, I
was
think they're
taking,
gonna
he had a few shifts there
Yeah.
at the last game.
yeah. So it's tough because I mean this is like a mini Dallas in a way. There's so many mouths to feed here, and it's such a wagon of a team. But Granlund's injury gave rise to Seneke becoming a pretty solid player. So now that Seneke's been doing super well, I don't know if he can crack the top 6. I mean, it's just a loaded top six right now, unless he takes center from McTavish, in which case he
Yeah.
becomes super interesting.
For sure. I do think that like we've seen with this Ducks team that they don't really have that much of a loyalty to the current lines. Like we've seen Gauthier get bumped down to power play 2. We've seen Carlson get bumped down to like line 2. We've seen, even the best guys on this team who are way overperforming and just being amazing, not necessarily overperforming, but just performing amazingly, are not locked into line 1 power play 1. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Granlund makes it onto power play 1 or in the top 6, but until then he's just a watchlist guy to me.
The main thing though, like, because I do think that he's more likely to get power play 1 than he is to crack the top 6. So let's say he was like line 3 power play 1. How interested are you then? Because I just think that they want him on PP1 for the face-off wins, which I understand. If he's PP1, he's worth a look, obviously. And as we're recording this, I think he's practicing there. So, but would they put Mason McTavish there at some point? Would they put Cutter Gauthier back on PP1? They can put Seneki there. Like, they have a lot of talent that deserves to be there over him. It's just how valuable are those face-off wins for the power play, which pretty valuable, right? You want to start in the offensive zone when you can. It's just at some point I feel like they just rely on Leo Carlson to take those and they replace Granlund with somebody else. But if he's there, like, are you rostering him more than, like, let's say the best waiver streamer on the week, like a Jason Zucker or something?
I mean, honestly, I view him like, let's say he's on power play 1, then I view him kind of like slightly better than like a JG Pajot in like a really deep league. Those types of guys who have winger eligibility, but when you face offs and then could chip in at other cats. That's all I see him as. I don't see him as. I know he had one game where he got 5 points. Then he's been out for so much of the season. So you look at his averages and it looks like he's almost point per game. But for the most part, he's not going to put up points for you. So don't think I'm too interested.
So like you'd rather Monahan over him. You'd rather Zucker over him. Like Zuccarello. Like all those guys. Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. It's with Seneki doing really well that makes him like probably not shoe in for the top 6. That's the difference between now and before he got injured. And he should be rostered in more than 26% of leagues if he hits power play 1, because that's where he's at now. I feel like he can get up to like the 35-40 mark. So he will get rostered, but yeah, I'm not trading for him or anything like that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to some more interesting stuff. Not that wasn't interesting, but I think there's more interesting names out there.
Everything about the Ducks
about
are
to go
interesting.
off right now.
Yeah, I know.
Everything. The Ducks are just so fun to talk about. So
they are fun to talk about. All right, Andrei Vasilevsky is day to day with an undisclosed injury. Jonas, is it Jonas or Jonas?
I think it's Jonas.
Jonas. Okay, Jonas Johansson. They have to be the same, right? It's either Jonas Johansson or Jonas Johansson. It's not going to be one and the other.
I know it's
right?
Johansson, so I'm leaning Jonas.
Okay. I'll go the alliteration king of, of Tampa. Jonas Johansson fills in while he's out. I think Vazzy was just put on IR, so he has to be out for at least the back-to-back starting this week. But they haven't said that he's going to be out longer than that. I saw some things saying that he's kind of just, he made some comments, or the coach made some comments where he's like, yeah, at my age, there's just stuff you're dealing with and you just kind of manage it over the course of the season. So I feel like it's that type of thing where I'm not too worried about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up, sitting some games here and there just to like manage, whatever he's dealing with.
Yep. I mean, pretty much like he was put on IR. It's retroactive. So the only games he's for sure missing are Monday, Tuesday. Now, when you're listening to this episode, this comes out Wednesday morning. So the Monday, Tuesday back-to-back will have just passed. And I recommended people in the Discord, like they were asking me, I have Vasilevsky, do I pick up Johansson or do I pick up like Tristan Jarry or do I pick up a Comrie or something? And honestly, my advice was, if the goalie you're picking up is a drop as soon as Vasilevsky comes back, I'm picking up Johansson if I can. Because I want to have like the security of that situation under lock. Because they put him out. He's missing only 2 games, but you don't know if it's going to be longer. Like there's still ambiguity in the situation, and you never know with these injuries for goalies specifically. So I want to have that position locked down. Now, if it's like a goalie you're picking up and you're not necessarily dropping.
Yeah, so anyways, if that's a goalie you're picking up and you're not necessarily dropping him immediately, then I would go with Jarry over Vasilevsky, over Johansson. I mean, I would still take Johansson over Comrie, even if you're thinking longer term, because they're both short term plays. But yeah, I totally agree with what Kevin's saying there. Where if you sorry, he just dropped off again, and it was mid sentence, so I'm trying to finish and continue for him. But he'll rejoin us soon enough.
We always finish each other's sandwiches here.
Exactly.
That other than the Colorado Avalanche, who are just ridiculous in every single way, the Tampa Bay Lightning are the best goals against team in the league. So that's how they've been winning. Pretty much being more shut down, which is surprising, especially as a Hagel Kucherov owner with how crazy they've been on offense in the past few weeks. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously like huge blow to their team. Talk about talismanic, like Vasilevsky is a huge part of their success. So
Yeah, I
But
will
yeah,
say
I
though that
agree
I
that
do think that Johansson's going to do a better job filling in than let's say like Comrie's doing for Hellebuck, because I know like
oh
a lot of
much.
people were like Hellebuck down, got to grab Comrie, or even if like you're the Hellebuck owner, you grab Comrie just to like do that kind of handcuff that Kevin was talking about,
Yeah.
and they're super disappointed. They're like, why isn't Comrie putting up Hellebuck numbers? You know, which obviously that was never
Yeah.
going to happen. But like this is different because first of all, Tampa's a lot better of a team than Winnipeg, and I think Johansson's just a better goalie than Comrie. So
Yeah.
definitely something to look at in terms of Tampa. Braden Point is returning from injury and will bump Nick Paul off power play 1. So the Nick
Oof.
Paul power play 1 dream is dead. I think that they're kind of getting back all their guys. And what's interesting is that Darren Radish is keeping power play 1 while even though Hedman is back. And then Bjorkstrand found his way back on power play 1. I don't know why they love having him there. He's so not good, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of baffling that they won't just put Hagel on there, but it is what it is. So it's looking like it's Kucherov, Point, Bjorkstrand, Gensel, and Darren Radish for now on power play 1.
Yeah. It's crazy that they don't just do that. In it from our perspective, but I get it. In real life, Hagel is extremely effective and helps the team in the ways that he does. So I'm not expecting him to get that at any point. Braden Point, though, if he has like one or two not great games, given how good Tampa's been offensively as of late, he just becomes the biased of buy lows. Like we talk
Yeah.
about that all the time. So keep an eye out. Like even if you don't own him or he's not on your trading radar, like he will turn things around at some point this season because he's just too good to be as bad as he's been.
Yeah, we're getting really close to the place where if you trade for him, it could be that exact moment where he turns his season around, and then like the
Yeah.
owner who's held him all year is going to be like, I can't believe I traded him right when he turned it around, and you're going to be the guy who's like, thanks for holding on to him for me while he puts up zeros. Now I'm going to grab him, and he's going to be a point per game guy. So definitely
Yeah.
a very interesting grab.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, first of all, my camera died, so I'm done with this webcam. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna figure this shit out.
That's what I was
but,
telling you, and you roasted me for using my computer webcam.
Oh my god! I mean, listen, the quality is better, but how much can you rely on the quality? Like the expected value when it's just not producing on a consistent basis is just I don't know.
Honestly, it's kind of
Anyways.
like the Jesper Wallstedt of webcams. Like when it's on, it's like the GOAT, but it only plays half the games. So
Man, I need a webcam that's gonna be on like
That's
Donkey
a really
Kong all the
funny
time. But
That's
just
really
just
good, Josh.
Yeah.
just a note on Braden Point. However, as we record this, like you guys said, like he's back, and people are worried. Like, okay, can I expect better things? Honestly, I don't think you can expect worse things. I truly expect Braden Point to get back to what we expect from Braden Point in the very near future. I think we're coming close to the final days of the buy low being able to happen because people are dropping Braden Point. Like in a lot of leagues in the Discord, I'm seeing people be like, I just picked him up off waivers. Like he's stashed on my IR. Who do I cut now that he's healthy? I think that's the fact that people are dropping him means that you can acquire him for so cheap still, and I would still be trying to do that. Would you cut or trade like Dylan Strome for Braden Point?
I'd take
Yeah.
Pointy over Strom. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, I just think that he's super valuable, and that if you're listening to this and you can still acquire him, please do so.
Okay, onto some Western Conference stuff. Connor Garland returned from injury and bumped Kiefer Sherwood off power play 1. And then Elias Pettersson went down with injury with an upper body injury. And it seems like Jonathan Lekkerimaki is taking his spot on line 1 power play 1. But I don't think those lines are locked in. And also, we don't really know what's going on with the Elias Pettersson. It was kind of like a last second scratch. And he warmed up that game. So I think that it's kind of still murky about what the issue is. And we'll see how long term this is.
Yeah, like first of all, Garland and Granlund's names are just way too similar to be on the same same news episode. So
My bad.
No, but come on, man. No, but all this to say with Garland, he's actually been really good playing insane minutes all year. I like this a lot. I think Vancouver's still in a really tough spot. It doesn't help the team much, but I mean, I'm not really that surprised he bumped him off power play 1. Lekaramaki, I've been unwisely excited about the prospect of him being a good NHL player for,
He's basically Gusev 2.0.
He's still like as a prospect. I don't know how old he is, but I think he's like the Slavkovsky draft year or the Cutter Gauthier draft year, more correctly put. But yeah, Garland great for shots, obviously, and he hasn't had a point in his return yet. But I still think it's he's a good guy to roster.
I just think that this is not honestly like I don't with the deployment you have to be interested for like a minimum level, but I just feel like it might be so short lived that I'm not wasting an ad on him for a few games while Pedersen is out because I don't know how good he's going to be with the deployment. First of all, so
Yeah, you're talking Lekaramaki, not Garland,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Rimaki. Garland, as long as has the good deployment, he's valuable. He might be a trade piece as well. Like people want him, so I feel like they're gonna do what they can to showcase that.
Yeah. All right,
Yep.
here's a kind of crazy one that came out of nowhere. Adam Fox was put on LTIR with an upper body injury, and his timeline to return is unknown. Will Cooley currently taking his spot on power play 1. Two things to note here. One is he got injured and then immediately put on LTIR. Like, we don't really see that, right? It's usually, there'll be day-to-day to out to IR and then LTIR, but he just went straight on like next day. So I don't know what that means in terms of his timeline. I feel like it can't be good, but maybe they just want to like find a way to use the cap room. And then second is I've seen rumors that the Rangers are looking to trade for a power play 1 defenseman. So that kind of also makes me worried about Fox's timeline. And I saw like Eric Gustafson's name being tossed around, and I saw all the Detroit fans being like, "Take him, please." He's like on their AHL team. He's not even in the NHL right now. But yeah. So I don't think that this 5-forward power play is gonna stick. I don't think that's what they want to be doing. And I do think they're gonna make an acquisition for some. I mean, it's gonna be a super low cost guy like Gustafson. I don't think they're gonna make a big splash, but I think something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't see them making a splash. I don't know if they have the cap room to make a splash like that.
For Eric Gustafson?
No, for Gustafson, yes, but I don't think
Okay.
they're doing another move besides Gustafson.
No.
We can't see your facial expression, so we're not
Yeah,
sure what you're
my
implying.
But yeah, no, I and if Gustafson gets added to the team, I'm actually interested because we've seen him be successful there in the past and he knows the system. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just roll with this 5-forward because Panarin can be the quarterback of this unit and it's not a problem. So
Plot twist: Tony DeAngelo gets traded back there.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
so that he can score on Shesterkin? No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. The only way to beat Shesterkin is self goals by Tony DeAngelo. What do you guys think?
A New York rivalry double agent.
Exactly. What do you guys think all this stuff means for Adam Fox's timeline? Like, I know there's been no real news about it, but like to me, it all seems kind of grim. Mid-Jan, okay.
That's my expectation. I think it's like right before the Olympics.
You think they'd bring him back before? Because that was the whole thing that he really wants to play that in the Olympics,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. I don't think he wants to miss the Olympics, and I think one of the reasons why they made this move so early is to give him the best chance. Not that it changes anything, like whether they put him on IR right away or not. That doesn't really change the fact, like his timeline to come back. But I think it was one of those things that like let's not play any games with this. We know you're going to be out for a while, LTIR, and then hopefully you're back in time for that. I think that's the goal. So
yeah,
that's what I would be expecting.
Yep.
Okay. Shane Pinto is out at least 2 weeks with a lower body injury. Dylan Cousins gets his spot back on power play 1. I am a little worried as a Cousins holder that Pinto bumped him in the first place. It just seems kind of crazy. Like, Cousins is doing so well. It makes me think that even if Cousins keeps doing well and Pinto comes back, they might still bump him because it's not like he wasn't doing well beforehand. So I'm happy to hold Cousins. His bangers are unreal enough that even if he does get bumped off, he's still someone you're happy to have on your team. I don't know, Kevin. What you're the biggest cousin lover on here, but
I do love me some Cousins.
Do you think he could be considered a sell high if he starts popping off on the power play before Pinto comes back?
I mean, I think Cousins, especially like the main reason why I love him for bangers leagues is because his bangers are so elite, right? Like in our league of record, we have face-off wins, we have hits, blocks, shots, PIMs as well. Which he's low key good at PIMs. He's better at face-off wins, and the hits he can produce from the pure C position are really exceptional. And listen, Pinto has been out for a few games. I'm not really worried about the PP1 because I think that's what the default situation is, him on PP1. And the power play was so bad, and that's why they needed to make a change. And the other guys are just such staples that they're never going to get bumped off. So if the power play is clicking and he's on it, I think he's going to keep the spot because I think that's a default situation. Now, the other interesting thing is if you look at his last 2 games with Pinto out, like he played major minutes. He's played over 20 minutes in both games. He had double-digit faceoff wins in both games. So I think they're relying on him a little bit more. And if you look at practice, like Stutzel has been, I mean, we just highlighted him as a buy low on our recent buy low episode. And if you look at the practice lines, Stutzel's playing kind of alone there, and they stacked Brady, Dylan Cousins, and Batherson on one line. So as a Cousins owner, I'm thrilled about that. He's playing with the best talent on the team. And I mean, listen, if he starts popping off, I'm always looking to sell for the right price, but just capitalizing on the heightened value, not what I actually think his current value is. But I think there's a lot of better days ahead for Cousins. Like he's averaging 0.5 points per game. I think he can easily get to 0.75, 0.8.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
super reasonable.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And the thing with the whole situation is that Brady did just come back, and then they what was it, 1 or 2 games before they put Pinto on the power play one. So I guess we'll see how it shakes out. I get what you're saying though, Josh, that like you're still apprehensive to feel confident as a Cousins owner because he was doing okay and Pinto still took it. So
Yeah, so I think it's something to keep an eye out on.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, Joseph Woll is out about a week with a lower body injury. Dennis Hildeby is the starter until he returns because Stolars is also out. But the coach did say Woll shouldn't be out for longer than a week. So this is very much a 1 week stream type of thing, not a rush to grab.
Yeah, not much to say here. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just what the case is. Do we have a
Yeah.
timeline on Stolars' return?
No, I know that it's looking pretty bad. I mean, just every time the coach is asked about him, he's like, yeah, he's still not skating, like not seeing much progress, like all kind of like not great looking things. But at the end of the day, you know, sometimes they say that and then all of a sudden they make a big step forward, right? And then they're back on the ice. So I don't think we have a clear timeline on him just yet, but I know he hasn't really started skating.
Yep.
Yeah, not much to add.
Okay, Matt Duchene returned from injury and is line 2 power play 2. Also, to talk about the Stars, Tyler Seguin is out for the season with an ACL injury. That is a huge loss for Dallas. Obviously, he's not one of their like top guys anymore, but like he's just a big part of that lineup, whether it's like in the locker room or on the ice as well. So that's really rough for him. I'm not too interested. I know a lot of people. You talked about Kevin. You talked about Granlund. Everyone asking about him coming back. Duchene, I think, has been asked about even more than Granlund. And people look at his last year stats, right, where he was like point per game and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and it just feels so unsustainable. I mean, going into the season, we were like, this is unsustainable. So coming back from injury, just it's a deployment at the end of the day, right? If he's not power play 1, he's not the type of guy who's going to put up point per game without power play 1 2 years in a row at this stage in his career.
No, I literally have zero interest in Duchene, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not interested in him either. I guess the timing though, like this gives him a better pathway to points because he's playing with Johnson and Rantanen. That like if Seguin was there, it would be a bit more of a question mark. But I feel like they're just going to be a more top heavy, even strength team than what otherwise would be the case. So he won't replicate what he did last year. But I guess this gives his value somewhat of a boost that he's like, you know, not a threat. Like no one on the bottom 6 is a threat to taking that spot from him.
Would you rather Duchene or Granlund?
Duchene.
That's a good one. I was thinking that as you guys gave the intro there.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to go Granlund. I think he actually has a shot
too.
at power play 1.
Me too. I'm going to go Granlund. I like the face-off upside also. So in face-off leagues for sure. And he just shoots more. I mean, like I'm pretty confident in his shot on goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to do last little tidbit on Duchene. Like for what my projection is for him rest of the season. Like last year, he was a point per game, had like roughly just over 2 shots, not really hits or any blocks. And I feel like this year you can probably expect the same thing, like 1.8 shots, 2.2 shots, like in that range. And I don't think he's getting anywhere close to a point per game unless like his line mates at 5v5 like severely carry him. I'm expecting like a 0.65, 0.7. And there's just like, would I rather Protus? Yes, and that's saying a lot. So
I don't think that's saying much at all.
Kevin, don't bring up Protus's name. Your camera's already shot. I don't know what else is going to happen to you.
I have nothing else to
lose. Speaking of the Washington Capitals, John Carlson is day-to-day with an upper body injury. Jacob Chikrin had already bumped him off power play 1 before the injury, but interestingly enough, and unfortunately for the Caps, Ryan Leonard is out long-term with an upper body injury, and this may open a spot back up on power play 1 for John Carlson when he returns. I don't know what you guys think about that, if you think it's just going to be another forward who jumps in, or if Carlson's going to get that spot now, but I think that makes it. I know we had said like sell Carlson, he's overperforming, and that's still true regardless of whether he's back on power play 1 or not. He's not going to be point per game, but it does change it from a must sell, get him off your team while you still can, to like, okay, he'll still be solid rest of the season.
So first of all, horrible timing with the Ryan Leonard injury because he had a ridiculous game.
Yeah,
like I like he's one of the rising stars in the NHL. He was on a 4-game point streak, and in that 4th game, he got 4 points with 6 shots and 2 hits. Very sad.
It was only 13 minutes though, so it's not like I don't know. It's still super disappointing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Second of all, the proper way to address this team is Aleksi Protas. Sorry, 6-game point streak Aleksi Protas and the Washington Capitals. Just to point that out. Just saying. And last but not least, although I do love Protas, as everybody knows, I'm not scared of a guy like him taking the power play over John Carlson. So I think that the logical way that this is going to go is that when Carlson's like ready to be there, he's going to take the power play 1. Ethan Frank, I actually like he can snipe. He can shoot the puck, but like I mean, to me, it's obvious that the guy who's gonna go there would be John Carlson.
What about like Connor McMichael?
Yeah,
no, I don't. If Connor McMichael was gonna be PB1, they would have put him there instead of Ethan Frank. So
yeah, like that's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel the need to comment just because John Carlson was my sell high in the recent episode, and like Josh said, he went from being like an absolute get off your roster to like I still want to sell just because the production was so inflated. But if you keep him on your roster right now, like the floor is higher than it would have been like a week ago. So really bad timing on the Leonard injury, like happened like a few days after we recorded the buy low sell high. So bad timing, unfortunately. But saving grace if you still have Carlson on your roster.
I mean, also like since he's still a sell high, this could actually help you sell him, right? You can be like, look, you may not have believed me a week ago when I tried to sell him and Chikrin was the power play 1 guy, but now Leonard's out. He's definitely going to be power play 1. Look what he's been doing with that deployment, you know? So since it could help with the sell.
It's not out of the question either that like we're basically saying it's guaranteed that he gets back on PP1 with Leonard out, but listen, it's not out of the cards that they keep Ethan Frank there and they just put Carlson on PP2. So
for sure,
I would still be trying to get out of the situation just because there's a lot of ambiguity. In the Discord, I mean Josh and I think we both helped one of our listeners do a big trade recently. He was trying to get better at goalie and he was trying to trade Mo Seider for Igor Shesterkin, which if you need the goalie position, that's like a perfect swap. But he still had John Carlson on his roster, and I was like, oh, you know what? Like, listen, I just highlighted this guy as a sell high. Like, see if you can actually get him off your roster and get value for him. And he was able to make it a 2-for-2 when he sent Carlson and Seider for Igor and Dylan Strome, which I think is a massive win for him. So
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, Pyotr Kochetkov returned from injury. Carolina is back to a 3-goalie rotation, which everyone in fantasy loves, adding to Rod Brindamore's amazing status among fantasy owners. Why not mess with the goalies too, right?
Yeah.
No, honestly, like, it's so frustrating to own any Carolina goalie because they're such a good team. There's so much value there. I mean, it's the same with all their players, right? They're such a good team. There's so much value to be had. And Rod finds a way he's got to be the most anti-gambling person out there, right? Like, he's just like, you know what, screw you guys. I'm just going to make my team win while having no valuable players on it for your gambling or whatever, or fantasy. But yeah, it just sucks because even if the guys play well, if they're playing like max 1 game a week, that's really rough. So I will say that the totem pole, I would say Kochetkov's the clear number 1. I actually would put Bussy ahead of Anderson, though. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say, like, I kind of get not utilizing your players in a fantasy efficient way and how that translates to real life success. I don't understand how he thinks a 3-goalie rotation is good for longevity in an NHL team. So my take is that this is going to be consolidated into 2 with Kochetkov being the 1A. Now, I own Bussy, so I
Yeah, you
realize
do.
how that sounds. But also, Brandon Bussy of the Carolina Hurricanes is one of the goalies on my fantasy hockey team. So let's be very clear.
Oh,
with
that's
that.
what you meant.
And he can handle the workload that they are giving him on the Carolina Hurricanes.
No, but the scary part with all this is like it's like I just think he is the odd one out, and they're not going to do this for that much longer. So I don't know what kind of
I-
situation it is. Will they demote him? I don't know. I hope that's not the case because I actually think he's maybe I think he's definitely better than Anderson.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree.
I
We'll
agree
see.
with Jakey. I feel like Bussy is the one that gives you the most signs of life, it feels like, for this roster. But what? Why is that? Why are you guys laughing? Okay.
No reason.
But I also feel like, given like the context and his age and everything, he's also the easiest one to leave out, because there's no way like you have a healthy Anderson and you're not dressing him up for a game, or a healthy Kochetkov and you're not dressing him up for a game. Like, the easiest excuse they have to not dress a guy is Bussy. So yeah.
I've got 2 comments on this.
Yes.
One thing to note is that Anderson and Kochetkov are both super injury prone, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think that is one of the reasons why he may be running this 3 goalie tandem, is just he doesn't trust that if he like gives the other guys like more than like 1/3 of the games, they're not going to like break into pieces. So I think that could be an explanation, and it could be an avenue to, one of these other guys being more valuable. But like, you can't hold that and hope. You kind of have to like watch list the guy until the injuries happen, and then you pick them up. And second thing, this is just something that popped in my head that I don't know if I haven't seen any rumors about this. It's just in my head. But
Mhm.
like, if they have these 3 goalies, like maybe they trade like Anderson to like Oilers or something, like, or a goalie needy team like
Yeah.
that. He's signed to like a 1-year contract. Like, that's super easy to send in a trade. Like I said, I haven't seen
I don't
anything
think-
about this, but
I don't
it's
think
just
the
a
Oilers
thought.
would do that, because the main thing with the Oilers is that they do not want to trade for somebody that's not a clear upgrade. First of all, and I don't think
Mhm.
Anderson is a clear upgrade for any goalie in the league right now. And also, like, one of the reasons why they're currently like not trading for Jarry is the injury concerns. Like,
That's
they don't
true.
want to be a fool and trade for a guy and then he gets hurt. Like, that would just be disastrous for the organization when they've been lacking goaltending experience like the whole time. It's also one of the main reasons why they didn't end up trading for Gibson in recent years. Like, could you imagine if they like put their season on a trade like this, and then the guy that they traded for gets hurt? Like, they just look like a clown. So
Yeah, I mean, they
Um,
look like clowns anyways, but
yeah, they do. But at least it's
no,
not
I
because
definitely,
they traded for a guy. And
yeah,
and-
I definitely see your point. So these were just ways I could see the 3 goalie rotation ending, but barring some sort of trade or injury, it's just going to continue, and it just kind of
Yeah.
sucks to hold any of these guys. So
Yeah.
like, if you have Anderson or Bussy, like, I'm pretty comfortable dropping either of them. Obviously, like on a 4-game week where he can get like 1 or 2 starts, it's still fine to hold. But like, I'm thinking like long term, the only one that's kind of interesting to me is Kochetkov, and I know if I have him, I'm really not happy about it. I don't know if I'm comfortable dropping him. It really depends on your waivers.
Yeah, and the only thing like is if you look at them on the season, Anderson's 5-7-2, Bussy's 8-1-0, and Kochetkov is 4-1-0. So
Yeah.
like, there's clearly 2 superior goalies in this situation. So to me, I think that if things were fair, that would happen. But Anderson has like a lot of respect from having had a pretty decent career, and if Kochetkov can actually stay healthy, it's probably just going to be Kochetkov 1A, Anderson 1B, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. We won't talk about it anymore, but yeah, it's just an interesting thing to keep an eye out on, because if anyone runs away with it, it's a very valuable position to have. All
Yeah.
right. Logan Cooley is out indefinitely with a lower body injury. JJ Paterka is getting his spot on power play 1. This is actually super interesting for Paterka, because he was pretty much droppable maybe like 3-4 weeks ago, and
was.
all of a sudden he's like, kind of, people drafted him being like, oh, he got traded to Utah, he's going to be like on this high power offense, he escaped Buffalo, and then he's been a huge letdown. But with this deployment and the fact that it's an indefinite Logan Cooley injury, I'm much more interested in Paterka. Fact is, though, I'm not buying him because this is his all-time high value, right? So it's more just like, if you
Yeah.
have him on your roster or if you can pick him up, then I'm very interested, but I'm not going to go chasing for him.
Are you guys are you guys interested in Daniil Butt?
Okay, funny story about that. I actually over the course of like I don't know if it was like the off season or what, like I follow along like the lines, right, for like different teams, and I kept seeing like them posting these lines, and like it would be like Keller Schmaltz like Hayton, and then it would be like Cooley Genther Butt, and then it would be like whatever, you know. And for some reason in my head, I thought they were just using Butt as like a placeholder because I didn't realize it was a player's name, and so I kept seeing like I kept seeing it around the lineup, and I'm like, okay, who keeps being injured that they have to have like a placeholder, you know, in these lines? And it took me for him like getting called up in the season for me to be like, oh, Daniil Butt, okay. So I did not realize he was a real person.
I saw somebody say like it would have been so sick if he was on the Habs and he scores a goal because it would have been like in a but but like butt, it's like spelled the same way.
In a butt.
That actually would have been pretty funny.
Yeah, that would have been funny. All that to be said, no, I'm not interested in butt.
No, not interested in butt. And I wanna ask you guys this because somebody in the Discord was asking us about Peterka because you know he has Peterka on his Peterka was available on waivers, and his worst guy is like Alex Tuck, so he's debating right now who to keep on his roster or you know drop Tuck for Peterka. And honestly, like that's the kind of move that I feel like you probably should make, given like with the Logan Cooley injury that we just talked about. There's gonna be, I think, more load on his shoulders, if you will, for Peterka to you know carry some momentum. And if he's the one that gets that PP1 spot, I just feel like he's gonna be solidified as better than Alex Tuck. So what do you guys think about that?
I honestly I feel like I should adjust my hot topics for the next episode to include Alex Tuck because
He's
I
everywhere.
feel like there's a lot of people are talking about him, and like in every conversation it's the same thing. It's like there's this interesting guy on waivers. Here are my 3 most droppable guys, and one of them is always Alex Tuck.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point where like every time I'm answering these questions, I'm always like I find myself saying, yeah, Tuck is the drop, Tuck is the drop. And it's just like, yes, he's very valuable. Let's say like shorties, he's great at blocks from a forward. He's great at. He's hitting decently, and he's good for pims. You know, so like cat coverage, he's great at, but he's never getting power play 1 barring injury. Like he only had it earlier in this year because all the Sabres injuries, and that just puts such a cap on his value that yeah, I would take Peterka for Tuck, and I'd be pretty happy about it with how things are going. And honestly, if Tuck's the worst guy in your roster, then I'm pretty happy with my team.
It's because he goes on these stretches where he'll have like 5 games in a row where he gets like 10 points and you're like, oh my god, this guy is sick. And then he just like rides off that production for like the next 2 weeks, and he doesn't do anything. And you're like, okay, like is this guy still worth holding or not? And he was so good, and you just keep remembering that. So that's just one of those things that I feel like if he's your worst guy, you could probably stream that position. I'm not saying the streamer will always be better, but just having the constant rotation of players from that spot is going to be more valuable than just holding him.
Yeah, I'm not like dying to drop him, but there's a lot of guys who surprisingly I'd rather have than him.
I'd rather take Peterka. I'd rather take the chance on Peterka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Jordan Kyrou is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Oscar Sundqvist takes his spot on power play 1. The Blues are just a mess. I mean, honestly, if you're a Kyrou owner, you're probably like, yes, I could put him on IR Plus and just forget about him for a week, you know, because he's been such a disappointment this year. And yeah, this is just, I mean, why is Oscar Sundqvist on power play 1? You know, like, what is going on with this team? And it just is such a mess. And honestly, as a Habs fan, it sucks because we just lost to them. And I'm like, how do you lose to the 2025, 2026 St. Louis Blues, you know? So, yeah, I'm not picking up Sundqvist. Not really interested in any of the Blues too much this year.
The only silver lining here that I'm saying is that if Kyrou was, I've been answering questions in the Discord again where like, you know, people are basically asking me permission to drop Jordan Kyrou. And I just feel like this is the excuse that I can finally be like, yes, like you can just, if you can't IR Plus stash him, just like, I'm giving you the okay, like I'm not holding this guy through injury, cut him, pick up the next guy you've been trying to get on your roster. So
yeah. The Sundqvist thing is totally fantasy irrelevant. He's never been a someone to own in fantasy hockey at all. I
He's
don't
a fake
think
player, just like Butt.
I don't even think this. Like, I don't think this is what's gonna happen. I think they'll probably like. Why don't they just put Holloway there? You know, or something?
Because like I mean, look, we love Monty as a coach, and even for fantasy, we like him. But like, he seems dead set on this split power play. He's been doing it since he came in, and it was working for them last year. So I think that he just wants to spread the wealth, so he doesn't like loading up on the first unit.
Yeah. Okay, I guess, but
Which sucks.
Yeah, it totally does. Zero interest in Sundqvist though.
Yeah. Okay, Kirill Marchenko returned from injury and bumped Kent Johnson off power play 1. No real surprise there. Not surprising, but Fantilli's still line 1 power play 1, and
Mhm.
him and Voronkov's value goes up. And honestly, Monahan and Werenski. Anyone who gets to play with Marchenko's value goes up now that Marchenko's back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally nothing else to cover. Just happy
Yeah.
to Marchenko's back and everybody else gets better on the team.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Drew Doughty returned from injury and bumped Brandt Clark off power play 1. This is going to be one of our hot topics, so I don't want to dive into it too much. Spoiler alert. But
Okay.
yeah, I guess we'll save it for the hot topics discussing what we think is going to happen over the longer term season. But it's just interesting to note that Doughty's back and Clark got bumped off.
You pick up
Yep.
Doughty now?
We'll dive into it a bit more. I'm not rushing to pick him up. I needed to pick up a defenseman for this week, and I had the opportunity to take Doughty, and I just went with a banger guy like Josh Manson. So, I mean,
Yep.
obviously it depends what your team needs, but first of all, I don't think he has an iron grip on that power play. Second of all, it's one of the worst power plays in the league, and I don't think he's going to magically fix it. And third of all, he gets 0 back category coverage. So, for those reasons, I didn't go with picking him up.
I mean, I know we're going to talk about it on the next episode, which is the hot topics episode, but people still want to have an answer. I think they're listening to this on Wednesday.
Yeah,
If you-
we won't tease everyone too much.
Yeah. If you have like Clark on your roster and you just see this news, are you dropping one for the other?
I mean, it makes me like before Doughty came back and when Clark got power play 1, I was super interested in Clark. Now that
Yep.
Clark got bumped off power play 1, I'm not interested in Clark. Do I
Yep.
think he has the chance to get it back? Yes. So if you can hold him and see how things shake out for like a week or two, then if you have the luxury to do that, do it. But I don't want him on my roster if he's not power play 1. But at the same time, like I said, I'm not that interested in Doughty either. So
Yep.
I feel like
mean,
you could
I-
drop Clark for someone else who just gets you like bangs at the worst case.
I'm in this exact situation. I have Clark. I streamed him when Doughty was out. When he was practicing on PP1, I picked him up. And now, Doughty's on my waivers. He's still there. And I did not try to make the swap. And the logic for me is, I keep saying this, but I answered this on the Discord. Somebody was curious. But to me, Doughty has 0 category value. Like, he's not shooting, he doesn't hit, he doesn't block, okay? So the only reason why you want him is the deployment. You're like, okay, he's on PP1. You want a defenseman that's exposed to PP1. He's the guy. But honestly, I think the floor is still so low that even if he gets a few points here and there, like the banger categories that he's not hitting are just Clark is getting you shots. He averages over 2 shots a game, which from a defenseman is still definitely noteworthy. And he actually does block. Like he's not a hitter, but he'll get you like 1 to 4 blocks, edging on more 1 to 2. And I just think that I'd rather hold Clark with the foundation of the categories, the category coverage that he's hitting, and with the upside that if he actually hits PP1, I think he can actually do something with it as opposed to what Doughty is currently doing for it. So I'm not making that swap. It also costs you an extra ad, and the ads are valuable, and you want to be strategic with them throughout your week. So I'm not making the swap. If I had Doughty and Clark was on my waivers, I'm not making that swap either. I'm probably just holding the one that I currently have and waiting to see how the situation plays out. But I think Clark has way more upside that I'd be more upset with myself if I made the swap and then Clark gets PP1 and I can't pick him up than if I just held Clark and Doughty just keeps it and does mediocre with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. But realistically, if you don't have either of them and they're both on waivers, I'm not picking up either. They're just both watch lists
Yeah.
to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Evgeny Malkin is day to day with an upper body injury. Anthony Mantha takes his spot on power play 1. I mean, hopefully this isn't a long-term thing. We've been saying sell Malkin for the entire year. I'm not going to pat ourselves on the back because he's day-to-day with an upper body injury, but he's still a huge sell high. And Mantha had that one streak where he was a solid a streamer, and Pittsburgh has 4 games this week and next week. So I don't mind picking him up as long as you're aware that Malkin could just come back and he would lose that power play 1 spot.
Yeah, I mean, Malkin's had a very surprising year so far. So I think that in addition to him being, the veteran former superstar that he is, like he is still going to get the power play 1 for sure when he comes
Yeah.
back. Not too interested in Mantha because of that. And yeah, we still maintain the sell high recommendation, although actually probably now is the best time because he's had 5 points in his last 2 games. So provided that the injury is not too severe, of course, like if it's just a 1-game miss, then yeah, I mean, pretty much on all fronts, that's it. Although his shots have been pretty nuts.
His shots have been nice.
His shots have been way better. So I don't know, maybe he like readjusted to the speed of the NHL and he's good again, but there's no way he's going to be Malkin.
I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying the Malkin resurgence that it's a season-long thing.
No, same
I'm
here.
not buying it either.
Same here. And it doesn't make him not a sell, right? It's still Evgeny
Yeah.
Malkin. He's like a future Hall of Famer, right? Like,
Yeah.
similar ideas to the other amazing guys who are just past their prime. Nevertheless, Manta's not too excited by this.
Yeah. Talking about amazing guys who are still in their prime, I'm ending this news segment with a bang. David Pastrnak and Charlie McAvoy are both practicing and expect to play sometime this week on their 3-game road trip. They'll bump Hampus Lindholm and Casey Middlestat from Powerplay 1. So Pastrnak was day-to-day. There wasn't much news on him, but we saw him skating, so it's not super surprising to see him back, although very exciting for Pasta holders. McAvoy's a really surprising one. He got his face just blasted in Montreal. I don't know if we're doing phrasing, but that's kind of exactly what happened. I didn't know how else to say it. His whole facial fracture, he had to get a big surgery. He's only drinking like milkshakes, or smoothies or whatever. And he lost like 20 pounds. Yeah, like liquids is the word I was
Wow.
looking for. I don't know why I went straight to milkshakes because they bring all the boys to the yard, I guess.
You're thinking of that chef on milkshakes.
Yeah, honestly, I am. But yeah, so, and there was just like, it sounded super grim. It was like, we're hoping he may be back for the Olympics, stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, it's like, he's on the ice, okay? He's practicing, expected to play sometime this week. So, yeah, this is super exciting if you're a McAvoy owner. Honestly, I was trying to buy low on him for a while, and I think the window passed, so that kind of sucks for me because I didn't pull it off. And yeah, as a Pasta and McAvoy owner, I'm super excited. The Hampus Lindholm dream is dead, but I mean, we always knew that was a short-term play anyways, and it wasn't the most exciting. So yeah, but I'm excited because I just traded for Pasta, so let's go.
Yeah, the week you play me, this happens.
I feel like Josh is always talking about how like his opponent's players are just getting healthy as he's about to play them, and now it's the foot is on the other
he just
shoe.
got Kucherov back, so
Okay,
Yeah,
Kucherov missed one
game.
Pasta missed like a week.
Either way, you're happy to get Pasta back, and I guess the Steve's line one
yeah.
line one
that's it.
dynasty era is over. And
I will be interested. There's a few players who it'll be interesting to see how it impacts their value. I'm thinking Morgan Geekie, obviously the biggest name,
Yep.
Elias Lindholm, and Pavel Zacha, because I know that before the injury, they were splitting up Geekie and Pasta, and they had Elias Lindholm with Pasta and Zacha with Geekie. Since Pasta's been out, it's been Lindholm with Geekie and then Zach all by himself. And so but earlier in the season, it was Pasta, Elias Lindholm, and Geekie all together. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. If I had to guess, I'd say it would be the Pasta, Lindholm, and then Geekie, Zacha. So teams really like splitting up their top six. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think it's very exciting for me and for everyone.
Are you
I don't know if
interested in the
anything
guy-
I was gonna say I don't know if anything can stop Morgan Geekie at this point, and I think that's
Yeah,
like
it's
one of the
crazy.
biggest wins for the Mega Management podcast, because in the offseason, I don't know if there's anybody we talked about more. Maybe it was him and Dylan Cousins. So, but it was
Yeah.
way more Geekie, I think, just because of he was way more of a less known name, I would say.
Like,
So
I know that we're good, but it's crazy how good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like,
know.
this is like the most insane. Like, he's 90% owned, guys. When I drafted him in the 13th round of our league, and he was, I think, like 20% owned. And like it's crazy what he's doing. He's 22
Yeah.
goals so far this year. It's nuts. So
he's still an absolute sell high. Don't get us
Yeah.
wrong. Like, we're not saying what he's doing now is full-fledged production for the rest of the season, but just the fact that he was such a big success, and like he's not going to go back to zero even if he does slow down.
no, he's
And
gonna be great
also
the rest of the
just
year.
the fact that you're able to sell him for what you can right now is a win in itself in terms of like drafting him or picking him up early in the season. So
Yeah.
Yep. So
Did-
pat on the back for us.
If
yes,
Steve stays left wing line one and it's Pasternak, Lindholm, and Steve's, is Steve's going to be insane?
I mean, he's been pretty nuts. Like he's
Yeah,
been
he
like
has.
a Banger's beast. If he gets that left wing eligibility finally, then
Yeah.
I mean, he could be like, Kastelik's been kind of a Banger's beast this year,
Mhm.
with that C right wing eligibility. So I could see it being a similar type of thing, except maybe Steve's actually gets some points because he's playing with Lindholm and Pasta. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
it's an interesting pickup for sure.
He could become insane. Like, he was on my radar for a while, and I was just like, nah, whatever. And then, like, he got the line one, and I was like, oh. And now, if Pasternak is obviously Pasternak's way better to play with than Geeky, like, no question about it. If he can, get 2 shots a game, Steve's like, I mean, that's
Steve's
an
only gets
insane
1 or
guy to
4,
have.
so pick your
Yeah. But his hits
Okay,
are
but let's-
insane. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Keep an eye out whoever plays left wing there, because I
He's-
don't
yeah,
think they're
I
going to do the
I
top.
just want to preface this. He's playing against. I'm playing against Steve's this week, so he's about to pop off.
Expect a
tremendously.
5-point game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some would you rather's. Everyone's favorite time of the day.
Woohoo!
or the week, I guess.
I was looking forward to this one, but would you rather? So for those new here, I prepare 5 would you rathers, one of every position: center, left wing, right wing, defenseman, goalie. And I try to split the difference between my co-hosts. I want them to both pick each player and try to find the line for where these guys are valued right now. And I do my best. So let's get started with the center position. Hopefully you guys didn't peek. We've talked about this earlier. No peeking, but get your apps ready because we're talking about centers. We talked about this on the podcast already a little bit, foreshadowing. But would you rather Braden Point or Rupe Hintz rest of season?
Ooh.
Now, Braden Point is a projection at this point. We're very confident in the bounce back ability, but Rupe Hintz kind of feels like the bird in the hand right now.
Okay, I'm going with. I got to go with Rupe. And actually, we were told in the Discord that it's Rope. So I know that Rupe is more fun to say, but I'm going to try and pronounce it better from now on. So Rope. I got to go with him. Honestly, my biggest knock against him in past years has been that he doesn't shoot and he doesn't win many faceoffs from the center position. And then this year he decided, I'm going to shoot and I'm going to win more faceoffs from the center position. Tag that onto the fact that Dallas is just insane. His spot in the lineup is locked in. He's never losing power play 1. So I still fully believe in the point resurgence, but it's just so much safer to go with Hintz, who, like, if point resurges to what we expect, he's still going to be pretty similar to Hintz, whereas Hintz is already doing it. So that's why I'm going with him.
Me too. Yeah, I it feels obvious to go Point just because he's been so much better in years past. But even if you look at the last season average, Point had 1.06 points and 2.45 shots. And this season, Rope has 1 point per game and 2.6 shots. So, like, and better faceoffs. So it's just, to me, all around, like, you know, his hits have not been like, horrible either, and it's just there's too much for Point to have to like make up for, and I don't know. I mean, not to mention the fact that Tampa Bay has been able to succeed pretty well without Point, and I think what's going to happen is that he's not going to play with Kucherov. Because
Really? You don't think Braden Point's going to play with Kucherov?
No, I think they're just going to keep Hagel and Cooch, and then they're going to put Gensel with Point, which is not bad. It's not bad at all. But to get to where Braden Point needs to be like as elite as last year, like a point per game plus no brainer, I think you need to be with Cooch. Whereas Hintz is doing that with Robertson right now.
Yep.
Still makes Braden Point a buy low, by the way. Like he can be way better.
So where's the line for
been.
Braden Point then? Would you rather Point or Sebastian Aho?
I think I gotta check Aho's stats. I have kind of a thing against Aho,
the Rod players,
unfairly, but yeah, it's just the Rod stink.
I think
yeah,
Aho.
I'm going Point over Aho.
I think Aho. It's close enough though, but like that's
okay.
like it's like the same thing as like so.
Scheifele?
Aho has been 0.87 last month and 0.93 on the season. That's where he could get to point. So Aho's already doing that, and he has done it in years past. Mark Scheifele.
I think I'm going Scheifele.
Yeah, Scheifele's been considerably better than everybody we've been talking about.
Yeah, but it's what you expect rest of the season.
For
Everybody's
sure,
been better than Braden Point.
Yeah, but he's also like he was just as good as Point last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
In least some points per game. So
you have to give us one that we're gonna take Point over the other guy, Kevin. I mean, I said I'd take him over Aho, so but you need to find one that Jakey will.
I think
over.
I mean, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy for suggesting this, but like, what about Josh Norris?
Yeah, I'm taking Point over Norris.
Yeah, easily. Easily, Kevin.
Kevin, you're such a bias like with some of your guys. Like it's like we all love
like
Norris. Here, but, yeah,
Norris seems like a cool dude, but like it's not close. Like I'm taking Points over
with how you guys are talking about these other players. I was curious because I think Braden Point is like a point per game player rest of the season when he hits his stride. Like whether this is as soon as he comes back or in a week or two. But I think Josh Norris is like a 0.8 per game player, and he'll get probably more shots. The faceoff wins are negligible. He'll get more hits. He'll probably get more blocks.
No, I'd say the shots are negligible too, and the blocks are negligible. I'd say Norris's only pro over Point is the hits, but the points for Point make up for it.
Okay.
You want Point or Tavares?
I'm taking Point.
Yeah, I'm taking Point as well.
Same. So
Yeah.
that's a nice kind of line.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Kevin, you're 0 for 1. What do you got next?
All right. This next one is spicy.
Oh yeah,
I
wait,
think.
Kevin, are you taking points or rope?
I think I want point, but if I have rope, I'm doing rope plus. I'm getting point plus,
Yes,
or
100%.
you know what I mean? Like I do
Yeah.
think rope's value is higher right now, but I'm expecting him to come back down to earth. We know him to be 2 shots a game and 0.9, and I think point when he's hitting on all cylinders, he's a 1.1 points per game player, and he'll get more shots than 2. So it's just about how much are you willing to take the L in the short term for the W in the long term.
For sure.
All right, number 2, we're talking left wing. Would you rather Seth Jarvis or Matthew Nyes rest of season?
I think I got to go with Matthew Nyes. And I love Jarvis. This is like 2 players I really, really like, but what Nyes is doing is just unbelievable. And the thing is that I don't want to harp on the whole Rod thing because we know that Jarvis can withstand that. But the fact is that Jarvis is playing what, line 3 right now? Like it's just he keeps getting bumped, and it doesn't necessarily affect his production. He's still going to produce because he's just a really incredible player. But Nyes is being like almost like a triple. Like he's like doing like 2.5 shots, 2.5 hits, over a point per game, and the power play hasn't even started clicking yet. I know he's been getting bumped off and on of it, but like he's going to be on it when it starts clicking. He's on it as of now, and he's just what he's doing is unreal. And I mean, if we're going to keep patting ourselves on the back, we also talked about him a lot in the offseason,
Yeah, we
although
did.
this was more of an obvious one than geeky, but still. So yeah, I'm going Nyes, but no shade to Jarvis. I still think he's an amazing player.
Yeah, same. And I have Jarvis. I like Jarvis a lot, but Nyes double is nuts. I don't, in a way, because I think Carolina's better, and Rod is such a difficult coach to own players on his team for fantasy hockey. This makes it better to own Nyes because any offensive production Toronto's going to get, he's going to be a huge part of. Whereas Jarvis, it's like, yeah, he's immune to the Rod curse, but it's still such a bleep show over there as far as like who's getting points from where. Whereas
Yeah.
Toronto's much more top heavy, and Nyes is at the top with Matthews. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And also,
I'm gonna
like,
go Nyes here.
Matthews hasn't even popped off yet this year. And like I said, the
Yeah.
power play is non-existent. So it's kind of crazy to say of a guy who's over a point per game, but I feel like he can still only go up from here.
Yeah,
Both
I
goes
really
up.
really like Nyes.
Yeah, I think the only question for people are they worried about the power play exposure, but the fact that he's able to average the amount of points that he's averaging without the power play just goes to show how important he is for this Maple Leafs team. And I mean, Jarvis was drafted significantly higher than him in almost every league, right? Like we touted Nyes as a candidate that we wanted to target in the drafts because we expected his points to go up given the new deployment and also just the banger category coverage. We saw a glimpse of it last year. This year is full fledged out there. He's averaging 1.12 points per game this season with 0.08 power play points.
Yeah, those are
Like-
Brandon Hagel numbers.
Literally, it's exactly Brandon Hagel numbers, except that he's
Yeah.
actually on power play 1. So that's the big difference there. I think it's definitely close though because I think Jarvis he's just always good no matter where he plays, right? So
Yeah.
you do feel like you have a safe value there, and I don't think. I mean, at this point, you got to bet on Nyes to hit a point per game at the end of the season, right? Like it just feels like
Yeah.
it's meant to be at this point,
Yeah,
even with the power
around
play
there.
positive regression. Like it just feels like he has so much wiggle room. Does Jarvis hit a point per game? I'm not sure.
They're both going to be around
I
there.
think
I
they
just believe
both-
in his
yeah.
hits. I believe in
Yeah.
in Nyes' hits more, and
Yeah.
probably safer to hit a point per game as well. So
Yeah.
What if it was Gensel versus Nyes?
I think I'm still going Nyes.
Just for the extra hits?
Yeah, I mean, Gensel will get like slightly more shots, but Nyes will get significantly more hits, and I don't see the points being that different.
But
I
Gensel
gue-
will
I
get
guess
significantly
Gensel's
more
big.
power play
I was going to say the
points.
power play points is actually a big thing for Gensel. So okay, so maybe I go Gensel because of the power play points. That's actually a big swing. You're right.
yeah,
Jiggy?
same.
Yeah.
Same. It's
Okay.
close
Same
though.
for me. All right, let's touch on the right wing position. This one I feel like could be the most lopsided one out there. So I'm actually very curious. I just want to have the conversation here. But
Josh Norris. I know he's not a right wing.
Josh Norris or Connor McDavid?
Connor McDavid, obviously. No, recent bounce back candidate JT Miller or Willie Nylander.
Oh, easy Nylander for me.
I don't I mean, wait, which way did you think that would be lopsided? I'm
I
curious.
thought everybody was gonna go Nylander.
Yeah, this is to me. This is not even close. And this, I mean, to be fair, I'm a
Look at-
certified #1 JT Miller hater fan club hater, you know. But
Yeah.
and I know JT had a solid week last week. Put up
Yeah,
a
he did have a
3-point
solid
game.
week. So is this? And he was a
But,
first round pick. So we're kind of like, okay, is he finally putting it together? All the other Rangers are doing well. He's the only one missing.
No, I feel like, I mean, look, I do think he's still a buy low. I think he's gonna have a solid season, but I think that Nylander's just the points. So JT Miller was drafted in the first round because of his back hats, which are really, really good, and the hope that he would jump from being like, you know, last year he was point per game to being like, let's say like something crazy like 100 points, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm very comfortable saying that's not happening. Okay. Now it's like, can he even hit point per game? I think that's his ceiling points wise for the season. And I think he can. I think that's why he's a buy low. I think Nylander's easily going to be like 1.2, 1.3 even on points per game.
Really?
Nylander gets more. Yeah. I think
last season he was at 1.04.
Nylander?
Yeah.
Okay, but he was 1.5 like a few weeks ago. I know he's slowed down.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not 1.3, but I'm confident he could be 1.2.
Okay.
And then Nylander gets more shots than JT. So JT's just got, and also like I know the power play hasn't even popped off yet for Toronto, but it's going to at some point. It's going to click. And look, I'm not expecting it to become the best power play in the league or anything like that, but that's just going to add on to his totals. I'm pretty comfortable going Nylander there.
So
I don't think
come
anyone
playoffs
in the world's going to trade.
Come the playoffs, you'd rather Nylander on your team than JT?
I mean, yes. I mean, it also depends on your like league settings and how your team is structured. JT can win you, you know, face-off wins and hits on his own in the playoffs, which is pretty nice. But Nylander's going to do way more for you for points. He's going to do way more for you for shots. And yeah, no, I'm easily going Nylander even with the playoff schedule.
Okay.
I
Jake,
think
you're in the
I've
same
been,
boat, right?
I think I've been convinced, but I don't think it's that lopsided.
I don't think it's that lopsided either. I think it's definitely worth the question. I think JT has the underlying metrics, and I think he still has room to grow. He was our first round pick for a reason, and he's got a way better playoff schedule.
Yeah, and you look, like, resurgences do happen. Like, up until a week ago,
especially for talismanic players.
Yeah.
That is his middle name.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously. I thought, for instance, like Sam Bennett, who I picked in the 6th round, was the worst pick of all time, and now he's insane. Like, JT Miller's way better than Sam Bennett is. So I feel like if you know, this could happen there, why can't it happen in New York, right? Plus the playoff schedule, this and that. So, like, that's why I'm thinking. But Willie's good. Like, I actually like Nylander a lot.
Willie's great.
If you ask Marner, I would take JT over Marner. I don't know where you stand on that,
My
Josh,
alternative was
but
Reinhardt or Nylander.
I would take...
And we'll move on to the next ones, but just give me your one.
Yeah,
one
Reinhardt, Nylander, I'm happy with them over... Well, first of all, Nylander over Reinhardt, I think. I think Nylander's really good.
I think that's what Kevin was
points.
asking. Yeah, I'm going Nylander as well.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant JT. It was going to be
No,
JT.
Reinhardt versus Nylander was my original one. But I want to throw JT in there. All right, let's talk defenseman now.
Okay.
Would you rather Matthew Schaefer or Seth Jones rest of season?
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like to like most people, the obvious answer is Schaefer, right?
He's slowed down.
I don't know.
That's why
he's
I feel like it's
definitely
worth
slowed
the
down.
question.
To me, as the Jones owner, I think I'm going Jones. And I know, like, I'm obviously biased, and he's gone through stretches of being awful, right? But this Florida team seems really to be waking up. He has, throughout all the thick and thin of the season, he has never lost power play one. There's been so many changes. Every forward, I think, other than Reinhardt. No, I know, but I'm saying, like Jones has power play one on lock, just like Schaefer does. But would I rather the power play one defenseman on Florida or the power play one defenseman on the Islanders? Give me Florida, no question. Matthew Tkachuk is on the verge of coming back. For me, it's Jones. Cat coverage wise, they're both really good shooters. I give the edge to Schaefer on shots, and then back at like hits and blocks, I'll give the edge to Jones. But it's not like it's that big of a difference. But I like the power play one quarterback on Florida more than Islanders.
Yeah, the difference has been split. I'm going Schaefer.
You said sell high a while ago. Not kidding.
Yeah, but I double checked. That was week 4, and Jones is not one of the targets, so I feel okay about this. But all this to say, I think that the reason I would go Schaefer here is because they just like the whole purpose of this organization is to make him good. So, you know, I am still a firm believer.
I think the whole purpose is to win.
No,
No.
I'm with Jakey on this. It's
No,
to
it's
make him good.
literally to make him good. Like I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, and I think like it will come in waves, but it's going to average out to being more useful than Jones in so far as like right now they're third in the Metropolitan, which is pretty insane. They're ahead of the Rangers, Pittsburgh, and Devils. Like, get out of town. I don't think that's going to stick.
All right.
But I still think that they're gonna like do everything possible to keep feeding him in the opportunities. His shots blocks are similar to Jones. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think like they're gonna really try to make him the one of the best defensemen in the NHL in like 2-3 years. And this year is just about building his confidence, and
Mhm.
that's it. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Schaefer.
Yeah, split the difference.
Who do you
to me,
pick?
to me, this comes down to they're very similar, and I think I want to bet on the one who I believe the power play will be better long term, and that's why I'm going Jones. So,
Yeah,
That's-
that's fair. You hate me, but
but
that's fair.
listen, I hope you guys listened to us when Schaefer was a sell high earlier in the season, because listen, he was popping off, and obviously he's a great player. But whenever you have the opportunity to tear up, it's just a reminder, like, these guys do come back down to earth. Like, no matter how good you think they're going to be, they always come
Yeah.
back down to earth. And yeah. All right,
Boat
last
goes
one.
up, but boat goes down.
Boat does come down. Sometimes boat becomes rocket ship as well. So
True.
all right,
Science.
tackling the goalie position. This is a spicy one because we heard some trade rumors. But would you rather Stuart Skinner
I
or
knew that he
Tristan
was gonna do
Jarry
this.
rest of season?
Everything about this is horrible. I just want to say, when I drafted Skinner, you were like, I think he's useless. And then
That's not what I said.
eventually,
No, this is a classic Kevin, Jakey.
This
He
is
gets
so
in your head.
classic
Okay,
Kevin.
Kevin's like, "Oh, Pickard's gonna be the starter. Skinner sucks. Jakey, I can't believe you drafted him." Meanwhile, in his head, he's like, "Damn, I wish I had gotten him." And then the second you drop, he snaps him up, and he's like, "Skinner's the best goalie in the world."
It's
I
actually
can't believe
not
you
true
dropped
at
him.
all. This is fake news. I remember when Jakey
it's
drafted
feeling
Skinner.
true.
When Jakey drafted Skinner, I literally told him I was planning on drafting him the same round that he took him. Like,
yeah,
that
but you
was,
also said that you thought Pickard was going to take the starting job, and
I
I know
don't
you didn't
remember that.
actually think that.
Yeah, you were
100%
like,
said that.
like the locker
Yeah.
room loves him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
Skinner's
thank
got
you.
Wait, are you
confidence
sure you weren't
issues.
talking about Wedgwood? Because the locker room does
No.
love Wedgwood.
No,
No,
you were
this
talking
is-
about Picard.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is,
listen,
this
I
is
didn't
mental.
expect Picard to be awful on the ice. Listen, you have to reevaluate. Part of being a good fantasy analyst is reevaluating your takes, and Skinner is the best goalie in the league right now. So
Part of being a good friend is not hating on your friend's draft picks, and then when they drops them, picking them up, and then offering him to me for peanuts. Actually, no,
Well,
not
listen,
peanuts.
it was not peanuts.
I forgot the trade. All this to say, Skinner right now to me is obviously on a bit of a hot streak, and
He's playing
on-
well. I wouldn't call it a
he's-
hot streak. I think he's playing
I mean,
well.
compared
I
to
mean, that's what a
whatever
hot
he's
streak is.
done for
It's a
the
streak
rest
of
of
good play.
like
No, but
yeah,
hot streak
like
feels like really intense. Like he's won 2 out of 3 games, and
in,
you got one
in
shot
his
out.
he's
past
on a,
5
he's on a
starts,
tepid streak.
yes,
Yeah.
that's good.
in his past 5 starts, he was over 90 save percentage in all of them, and he had a shutout and a 958 in 2 different games. Like, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So obviously he's been good. Jarry's also been on a tear. So
Yep.
these to me are like 2 goalies who are bad playing on actually decent teams. And
Where in
because
real
of that,
life they might get traded for each other.
yeah, I like Edmonton better, so I'm gonna go Skinner. That's honestly the truth, but I think they're both bad.
That was very big of you, Jakey.
Yeah. Thanks.
You see, listen,
not-
you hear that, viewers? Like, Jakey, even though it breaks his heart to say it, he will still give you the best fantasy advice that he can. And I also agree with the Skinner over Jarry. But I will say,
Yeah.
I'm not buying this Skinner's all of a sudden the best goal in the world. I think it's only a matter of
Who
time
said
before he
that?
puts you multiple
I
times
didn't.
by text to Jakey, trying to wear him down and ruin his life. But
honestly.
I'm just look. I just can't wait for Kevin to get Skinnered. That's all I'm gonna say. It's gonna happen, and he's gonna put up a .500 and torpedo his whole goalie stats for the week. And Kevin's gonna be like shocked Pikachu face, and me and
I
Jake are
won't
gonna
be
be
shocked
laughing.
Pikachu face.
So-
I know that is one of the outcomes.
No, but right now I am going Skinner over Jerry.
Would you be willing to receive back anything worse than a first round pick if you send Skinner and Josh Norris?
What? No, obviously not.
That's what I'm saying.
Send me Kucherov for Skinner and Josh Norris.
No.
Damn, Jakey, don't fleece him.
Oh.
All
Joey,
right,
the
I think we
difference
should.
was not split. Yeah, Kevin, who
Yeah.
do you pick in there?
No, Skinner for sure. I just feel like it's the you.
Anyways, thank you to all for listening.
I think, well,
Mad.
I honestly think this Edmonton team is about to go on a hot stretch. Josh has both guys on his team. By both guys, I mean he's got the McDry. So there's nothing stopping Edmonton right now, and I'm open to riding the coattails of Stuart Skinner getting just those dubs. So,
And you might be thinking, Josh has McDavid and Draisaitl. He must have no other top 7 picks on his team, right?
that's exactly what everybody's thinking.
Have you met Matthews and Pasternak, my 3rd and 4th best player?
Everything
I
about
have.
the last 2 minutes of this whole thing were devastating. Okay. Thank you to everybody for listening to this week's episode. If you enjoyed the show, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe on YouTube. Give this video a like if you were entertained, which how could you not be? Sad. Okay.
Are you not entertained?
Seriously. And all the socials are in the link tree in the podcast description. Take it away, Ernie.
Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo! Woo!
I beat you to it because I wanted
Whoa.
one small victory.
It's okay. You can get the woo. I'll just keep Stuart Skinner.
Oh,